The kiss of death for any leader. Well, welcome to the show. I want to talk to you about the kiss of death for any leader. First, I want to start by asking you some questions. The first, are you one of those people who your schedule is just so jam-packed all the time? You wake up in the morning and there's a sense of anxiety before you really ever hit the floor because you're just so busy. Are you one of those people who struggle with getting to appointments on time, or gosh, you may even have to reschedule? Sometimes you may even not show up because the previous appointment maybe took too long. And when you do get to those appointments, like your Mach 4 with your hair on fire, you know what I'm talking about? Just like a bead of sweat pouring down your forehead because you are racing from one to the next, lacking that preparation, like I'm going to just have to wing it for this appointment because I'm not prepared. I haven't set my intentions. I haven't released the anxiety or the focus from the previous appointment. Are you one of those people who struggles with getting home on time, who struggles with disconnecting from technology or the world around so that you can be present for those people who are most important to you? I ask these questions because they describe everything that was me as a leader, as a husband, as a father, and I see it as a kiss of death for any leader. I just don't know how anybody can be a leader with the strategy that says to the person that you're meeting with that, at the very least, right, my time is worth more than yours. That's at the very least. On a much bigger scale, that I lack integrity, I lack character, my actions don't align with my words. I would be maybe even delusional, right? That I would think that I am this amazing leader, but not showing up the way an amazing leader would show up. And as I mentioned before, this describes me. I think if you asked anybody in my organization about my leadership of past, they would tell you that there was a time that it was hard to follow. And it wasn't until I gained control of my schedule that all changed. So I want to do two things. Number one, I want to kind of paint that picture that I just did of a common struggle that leaders, busy people, entrepreneurs struggle with regularly, and it's okay. Most, if not all of us, have struggled with it at some point. The first step to solving this kiss of death is to acknowledge that it exists so that we can then put together a solution. The second step to this is really making sure that you are clear on how you want to show up. I don't know about you, but I want people to know that when they schedule an appointment with me, not only am I going to be there and be on time, but I'm going to show up in the right mindset to provide a great deal of value and serve that person. That I'm going to show up prepared and ready to really think and ready to really roll up my sleeves. That I'm going to be in control of the time allotted. That I'm going to have clear expectations, and that we're really going to move the needle. So how do we do this? Well, I did shoot a podcast a few months back called How to Add 52 Extra Days to Your Life, to your year. I would really encourage you to look at that. There's also some other great resources. Greg Ballantyne has got the perfect day formula that works, but let me walk you through some real basics. Number one, first and foremost, you've got to make a list of all of the things that you need to do on a regular basis in order to push the needle of your organization and your family and your life and your leadership, period. These things need to then be translated into sort of a red, yellow, green list, meaning red are the things that are not they don't need you, right? They could be delegated. There are things that you hate to do that you're not going to do anyway. They could be things that maybe you love to do them, but from a hourly rate standpoint, they don't meet the criteria. So, meaning I can outsource this for $15 an hour kind of thing. Then you've got the yellow, which are things that maybe you don't really like to do, or maybe you do like, maybe they're close. It's sort of the gray area, right? And these are things that you are going to endeavor to cast off at some point, but right now they're yours. And then green, which are all the money-making activities, all the things that align with who you are and what you want to be. So once we have that list, we're going to convert those, the greens and the yellows, we're going to convert those to your calendar. And I use two different calendars. I use one that's just titled time blocking, and then I use one that is my actual calendar. My time blocking then ends up being more chunks of time. As you look at your list, you're going to see that there's a bunch of items in there, for example, that all fall under marketing, as an example. All right, so you would figure out, okay, gosh, you know what? I need to work on marketing for 2 hours a day. Okay, great. So that's my chunk of time. And then the actual things that I'm going to be doing during that chunk of time would end up on my actual schedule. Hope that makes sense. Again, if you want any more information, you can certainly reach out to me. Happy to help you. Or you can go back to the previous podcast on how to add 52 days. All right. So now let's talk about the intention. Folks, it is incredibly important that you not only show up on time, but that you show up prepared. And part of preparation is not just having done the homework, quote unquote, that you need prior to your appointment, but it also means that you've released the previous tension, thoughts, stresses, and that you become present and in the moment. And I think it was Brendon Burchard is the one who goes through this sort of meditative exercise that takes literally less than 30 seconds, where he's taking deep breaths and he's releasing for 3 breaths, and then he's setting his intention for the meeting that he's about to go into for 3 breaths. So very, very important. Number one, know this is you. This is a kiss of death, and you are committing these sins. Number 2, figure out in total clarity what it is that you want to be and how you want to show up. And number 3, go through the action steps necessary to come up with a really wonderful schedule. And then number 4, do it. Do it relentlessly. Listen, it's going to require that you teach people around you differently. There are people that believe that they can come and interrupt you. We call them got a minutes, right? You got a minute? Got a minute meetings. Well, you're going to have to train people that you don't got a minute. The way we do that is by saying no, by saying yes. So a way to do that would be saying, hey, do you got a minute? Yes, at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Follow me? Okay. So again, 4 steps, all on you, 100% your responsibility. As a leader, though, you cannot lead unless you have complete control over your schedule. Hope this helps. Talk to you soon.